Good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are doing well. So, continuing with the last class of our general English, let's start today's class. Alright, so we did discuss some of the characteristics of Chinese view of art and European view of art in our last class. Alright, so I hope in short, in a nutshell, you have definitely come to know about the features of both the types of art. All right, just one thing you need to remember here is that in Chinese painting or in Chinese view of art, what we need to remember is that the Chinese painter actually wants the viewer, he wants us to explore his mind. Alright, in terms of Chinese painting, what does a Chinese painter want is that he wants the viewers to explore his mind and see and observe a particular piece of painting that is created by the painter in terms of his imagination. Alright, so the term imagination plays a vital role in Chinese view of art. Alright, whereas in the European painting, what happens is that the painter, an European painter wants the viewer to borrow his eyes. Alright, to borrow his eyes and look at the piece of painting exactly from the point of view of his eyes, but not from his mind, not from his imagination level. Alright, so now coming to the chapter, that is, please take out page number 34. So here you will see that at the beginning of the chapter, alright, at the beginning of this chapter you will find in the first paragraph itself that the writer has given an example of a Chinese painting. Alright, what does a Chinese painting normally signify? Alright, so please let's go through it and let's have an observation of what does this say to us. Alright, see, a wonderful old tale is told about the painter Wu Daozi who lived in the 8th century. Now you will see here that the name of a painter, that is Chinese painter, is being referred here. Alright, that is Wu Daozi. So it is about an old tale. Alright, it's a very old traditional tale, and this painter, he used to live in the 8th century. Sorry, not in the 18th, but he used to live in the 8th century. His last painting was a landscape commissioned by the Tang Emperor Xuanzong to decorate a palace wall. Now what happened in that at that period of time is that this painter was commanded, he was ordered by an emperor, that is Xuanzong, and he ordered him to decorate, to make a landscape, alright, in his panel in order to decorate his palace wall, that is the king's palace wall, alright, that is the emperor's palace wall. The master had hidden his work behind a screen so only the emperor would see it. Now, what did the painter do here? He, tried to hide his work, alright, behind a screen. Means whatever painting he had created and he had painted, so he had just hidden it, alright, just behind a screen so that nobody else could see it. Alright, it was made purely and entirely for the emperor, and only the emperor can rejoice it. For a long while the emperor admired the wonderful scene, discovering forests, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds floating in an immense sky, men on hilly paths, birds in flight. So these were the things that the painter had actually painted in that palace wall, in that painting which was there in that palace wall. Alright, so if question asks, if you are asked what kind of things give a description of that landscape, that the Chinese painter had painted to decorate the palace wall of that emperor. Then what could be the answer? It would be, in that landscape he had portrayed wonderful scenes like forest, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds, floating in an immense sky, men. He has also painted men, which were there on hilly paths. Then birds. All right. So these were, the sceneries. These were the things that he had added in his landscape. All right. "Look, sir," said the painter, "in this cave at the foot of the mountain dwells a spirit." Now, after creating that painting, what did the painter say to the emperor? He said that, "Look, sir." Now, here, this sentence he is addressing to the emperor. Who? That is, the painter is addressing to the emperor. All right. And he said that, "Look, sir, in this cave, the cave that I have drawn, all right, in that painting, so at the foot of that mountain, there seems to be a spirit. There dwells a spirit." So what does he try to show here? He tries to show here a kind of realism, all right, a kind of illusionistic likeness, you can say. See, you will see the essence of illusion in both the paintings. All right. So what does the painter want to show here? He tries to give an illusionistic form in his painting by making the emperor believe that whatever you will see here is actually going to be happen in reality.